Good evening, welcome to AGG Live. We are talking Callaway Apex tonight. Quite excited actually. Callaway have released some new product. We've got Apex Forged Irons, so the Apex Pro, Apex CF16s, and then we got the Apex Hybrid as well. We're in the AGG Live studio, as the sign says, and I've kind of hung some new trinkets. What do you think of my new studio? I've got some new pictures. We've got Dumb and Dumber up here on the top here. We've got a sleeping Buzzman at the front here. That's what happens if you go on golf days with Steve. Oh, this one's slightly embarrassing. We've got the old 16th Toy Pines. Don't like to talk about this one. Hole in one, 23-degree hybrid, one bounce straight in, open qualifying course, US Open kind of, it's just, I don't like to talk about it. Let's move on. Myself there, we were the Ricky Fowlers. Myself here with Gary Player, which was a real treat for me actually, to get to meet a living legend and chat and ask him whatever questions I wanted to ask him. It was great. A picture I took at Turnberry, which I really enjoyed, and a lovely picture of Sophie Walker. So Steve, if you're watching, don't think she's going to be talking to you after what you said, or who you guessed was in that picture. Right, so we've got loads to get through tonight. It's going to be a show about Apex. We've also got a fantastic giveaway coming, so stay tuned. I'll announce how you can get involved in winning some pretty fantastic kit from Callaway as well. So stay tuned for that. We are talking tonight Apex. There is the Pro version. We've got the standard cup face 16 version, so CF16, and we've also got the hybrid, Apex Hybrid. I've done full reviews on these both, or all three of these products, on my channel as well. If you are looking for full in-depth reviews and me hitting it and all the rest of it, well, this is really just the same. Also, someone's just said in the chat there, we've got Sammy the Spider as well, always with us, the Spider who never lives. So we've got the chat running in front of the video here. I've got the Twitter feed coming through as well. So post questions if you're out there. Let me know what you're saying. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm just going to refresh that chat there as well, the Twitter feed. So let's dive straight in, shall we? Actually, before we do, if you are enjoying the live videos, you like the AGG live stuff, I'm trying to do as much as I can in my busy schedule. Hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you don't as well, so you get a notification whenever we go live. We've got a very special show on Sunday, another big giveaway also, and around a pretty special topic which you might all enjoy as well. But let's go back on topic. Let's go Callaway. Let's start then with the Apex Pro Club here. So if we just whack a picture up here, this one, I've got what the manufacturers are saying about the club in front of me, so I'll tell you what they say, and then we'll also talk about what I think of them, and I've got some data as well on me hitting them. So here it is up close, look peoples. It's a forged iron. It's very much built around Callaway saying tour influence, shaping and design. These kind of clubs have to look a certain way. People want them to look, sound, feel a certain way. They're kind of the players who are going to game them and the consumers who are going to consume them are demanding it looks a certain way, which is basically what they're saying. It's a 1025 mild carbon steel. It's a forged club. It's got Forge written on it, which you'll always get on these kind of premium, players club. They want to see that it is forged. It's a multi-material design optimized for center of gravity for each club. So the longer clubs, 3 to 5 iron, has more offset and a tungsten insert, which I think goes in this part. And then the 6 through to kind of wedges has a progressive higher CG for controlled and penetrating trajectories. Not that I said that word right then. So what I'm seeing when I see this club, I mean, I've hit it and we'll look at the numbers in a second. I see kind of very traditional lofts. If I whack up the lofts here as well, which is this one here, look, you're getting a 6 iron, which is 30 degrees. So you've got a more traditional loft on these ones, but you are going to be getting that kind of higher launching, less offset, better players club. So it's going to demand that you put a certain amount of effort in yourself. So there is the Pro. It's very good looking. It feels quite nice as well when I hit it. It did make nice sounds and felt like that kind of club should feel. Now, if we compare that one then up to the Apex Cup Face 16, which is there, you're getting, this is the most interesting club for me because it does really appeal to me. You're getting a thicker top line, nice little kind of squat blade length, which I really like. Plenty of heel toe weighting on this one as well. If I just bring up the data of what the manufacturers are saying with this one, this is distance with playability. So you're getting kind of a very gaming looking package. You know, very traditional in lots of its ways. It's a bit more of a white satin finish compared to the chrome with the Pro. Again, not much offset, progressive offset they're saying. You get 3 to 7 iron, utilises the 360 cut face, which you see in their woods and hybrids and irons now as well. And then the shorter irons, 8 irons, include a faceplate to enhance feel and distance control, they're saying. So this one is quite different in its lofts, because it's going to be very different in its launch with this kind of chunkier bit on the back. And it is also forged as well, which is quite interesting, because when I hit it, it made quite an unforged sound, because I think of that cut face design that they talk about and the plate on the smaller ones. I've got the 7 iron I was hitting. It makes a sound, quite a clippy sound, like it is really firing, like it is really coming off the face. If we look at the lofts on this one, you're going to go back into what we see from all the manufacturers doing, is they're going down to 27 degrees and some go lower in a 6 iron. So they're very much playing with the lofts around the launch and around the spin to make sure you do get peak heights. And out of the two clubs, I did hit the standard one higher than the Pro one, which is what I would expect. But I lost spin. So if I show you my numbers on it here, I've just got a little screen grab here. So the Cup Face 16, which is the chunkier one, I was only spinning the 7 iron down at 5,400 revs. But the distance carry was nearly 170 yards, 168, which is long for my 7 iron, because I'm launching it high with low spin. The Apex Pro was spinning at 6.6, a much more true spin for a 7 iron for me, near the 7,000s. But I was only carrying it, what was that, 153 I think it says under there. I was kind of averaging, getting it up near 155, topping out at almost 160s. So you can see how the lofts on those clubs around the launches and the spins are really affecting my launches and control of that club. Out of the two, for me, I would pick the cut face design one all day long. I get seduced by that distance. I'm not the strongest of hitters, you know, I'm not getting the most natural distance from myself through speed, so anything that the club's doing to push the ball up a bit higher and also get a little bit more out of it, which that one does appeal to me. But what I really like with both of these, but I particularly like more in the CF16, so the standard one if you like, is it looks as good as an iron can look. Even though the other one is definitely slender and it's a bit more chromed, the CF one for me, the look of it is everything I would want that kind of helping club to look like. So it doesn't look chunky, it looks very slim, it looks very playable for kind of, I think, a wide range of handicappers really. It's something I could very easily put in my bag. Now we did have a special guest tonight, but it's Friday evening when I'm doing this live feed, and Friday evening has different pools for certain people, the pub, so he didn't make it. He's actually got a set of these, so we're talking about Coach Lockie, who uses these. He's got a set of these that I think arrived today, so he's very happy with them, and I've tried them, like I say, with those numbers, and I was really impressed. I could absolutely game that club. Now if we go on to the last one then, before we start, we have got viewers pictures, and we've also got some great questions coming as well around the clubs, as well as keep my eye on the chat to try and find the good ones coming through there as well. We've got the hybrid as well, the Apex hybrid. Now this one is really, really interesting, because the Apex hybrid is quite different. That's not it. That's a ping. That's not the right one, which doesn't help, does it? But if we bring that picture back up, I don't know why I've put a ping up there on there. It's quite classic. The Apex hybrid has a very unique design. It's kind of much more iron based, so much more kind of high toe, looking more like an iron, felt like an iron. CG on it didn't feel far enough back for me. It felt too much like an iron for me in its appearance. But what I liked about it is the numbers I got on it were very true to what I would want a hybrid to do. So you can see much higher in the toe here in the apex. You get a little weight at the bottom which is fixed, so I can't move that one around. I get no options with it, it kind of came with that. No changeable neck, which again I don't particularly need on a hybrid. I like my hybrids to be a little bit more truer in their kind of circular shape, not so toe bulbous. But I understand why this one's going to really appeal to people who play irons better than hybrids, where I'm very much the opposite. So even though I wasn't so keen on the looks of this, compared to it would never replace what I already use, when I hit it, the results I was getting did make me think if I fell out of love with my hybrid, I could absolutely get that one in play. That kind of juxtaposition in looks from the numbers, I would give it a go to try and win some confidence. Again, I know a couple of people, Matt being one of them, who uses obviously his lumpy, as we call it, which is like a driving iron. He's got one of these coming, and I think he's going to be quite keen on trying to get it in the bag, because the other thing you've got to remember with a hybrid is you get roll and bulge, and this is something I say a lot with my students. You get basically a face that isn't straight like an iron, it's curved. So you get CGs off the face and you get roll and bulge. So it's also not flat. I can't get it on the camera right there. It's not straight this way either. That's going to help you when you don't hit the centre of the face. It's going to make the club much, much friendlier when you're hitting across the face. On a club for me, which I'm hitting 200 yards to 210 yards, say in a 23 degree here, I absolutely want as much help as I can get out of those. So there you go, guys. That is the Apex releases. We've got some questions coming through which we will talk about as well. We've got one there. Let's have a look at Danio in the chat there. Hi, Mark. I'd like to hear your opinions on where the hybrid is in terms of playability, forgiveness and distance compared to the one I'm gaming right now, the Cobra BioCell one. Well, for me, Danio, that's coming through the chat. That's a very good question. I'm glad I grabbed that one. The numbers were exactly the same as the actual hybrid I game. So they've sent me a 23 because they know I use a 23. I've got my rinky dinks, as I call it. They sent me the same loft, obviously, to give it a comparison to what I've already got in the bag. I wouldn't change it on the looks for me, Danio, in the chat there. I would change it on the numbers if I did like the look of it more compared to what I'm used to. I'm a very... I want it as friendly as possible kind of hybrid player, where that one for me just felt too much like an iron. I felt like if I needed to get the ball up really high, I feel like I could do that with my one and not the Apex. You've got to remember Callaway do make other ones which are, in my opinion, a fraction easier to launch in different situations. This is the one that's going to be aimed more at the better player who, you know, is a long iron player but just wants that bit of help but doesn't like to move away into the completely traditional hybrid, if you like. So great question there. So we're going to go into some more questions which I've got today sent through from Twitter and other places, which is great to see. Thanks for keep sending. And like I say, if you're liking the live videos, hit that thumbs up button down below and remember to subscribe to the channel. But we're going to do some, I love this bit, we're going to do some viewers pictures. I love that you guys get involved and send some pictures in. So let's show you some of the pictures that I'm getting. This is Clay, sent this one in. I think he was from the States. I asked for people to send pictures of them watching the video or playing on the course. This was him playing at the weekend, I think he said. Fantastic looking course, Clay. This one came via Twitter, just called M. Thanks for sending, seems quite happy. Two mates in the background. Golf isn't any better when you're playing with your mates. As good as it gets, isn't it? So thanks for sending. We've got Matt Dixie here, sent this one with the fantastic hashtag of compress my balls. It's a pretty good picture, isn't it? Catching impact or post just after impact and the ball in flight there, which is great. And friend of the show, Paul Tolley, sending his night golf picture, finishing in the night. I think that's literally the flash of his phone that's giving him any kind of light there. So yeah, well done, Paul. Commitment to get better, which I like to see. I also like to see the Nick Faldo diamond jumper there, mate. Really, yeah, giving it old school there, isn't it? If it was a Pringle one, you'd be off and running, wouldn't you? You'd be the man. You would be Faudo the man. Let's just go to the hybrids as well. I didn't say this with the hybrids. This is where your options are. Let me just find where are my options. There we go. These are the lofts with the hybrid. Look, guys, so you're getting an 18, a 20, a 23, and a 26. You've got to remember the neck is not adjustable, so your lofts are your lofts. You would have to buy them. And like I've said in other videos, just remember to make sure that when you're buying your hybrid, for me, I'm matching it in to my irons. I'm always matching it from my irons upwards. I'm not really coming from driver back. So many people buy hybrids. They buy a driver, maybe a freewood, predominantly driver, and they just kind of just bung a hybrid on at the end. I would go more from the iron end up. Mine game improved 200-yard range massively when I worked out that the hybrid needed to replace the 4-iron in my bag. Right, let's get on to some questions then, some Twitter questions. Got a great question here from Frank, who comments a lot on Twitter. Thank you, Frank. Always like to see good, constructive people who are getting involved in the Twitter and the show and on Facebook and the rest of it. So he says, at what point do you think the iron market will grow stagnant? Hashtag AGG Live. So I think Frank is kind of hinting there towards the fact that you've got limitations on golf clubs and what have you, what they can do. There's a lot of answers to that question. I don't think it'll ever grow stagnant because you've always got people coming into the game and people going out. Someone like Frank, who might obviously played a bit or watches a lot. Excuse me, my throat's just getting a bit dry there. Who needs to, he might be seeing that all these clubs are very similar in their tolerances and just thinking, what's the point in changing? And for you, Frank, there might not be a point. For me, I would change my irons on a look and a feel, a sound. A feeling is as important as a physical data number. I'm going to use the data numbers to understand what my clubs are doing, but I'm really buying on those looks and feels more than anything else. And if I've got a set of clubs which is 2, 4, 6 years old, I might be finding that maybe my swing speeds might change as I've got older, or if you're getting stronger. If you're someone who goes to the gym, there's things that are changing in your lives. You're playing less, you're playing more, your game's changing, and you might find you want an iron that doesn't go so high, or you want one that goes a bit higher with a bit less spin, because you're not playing as much, you're not as fit, you're losing a bit of speed, so you're going to gain a bit of different launch characteristics out of your irons to try and get back what you're losing through time, through a little bit of what they call technology. Rather than technology, I would say more, it is technology, isn't it? But it's kind of the makeup of the launch model. So it's an interesting question, Frank. I don't think it will ever go stagnant, because I just think, if you think about yourself, Frank, I think in 6 years' time you'll have a new set of irons. You'll want a new set of irons. They are desirable things. Look, why do they make them shiny and paint them the wood's pretty colours and logo them up and spend lots of money on logos and the looks and buffeting all the ferrules and everything? Because they're a desirable object. We will always desire them, as well as the desires to want to play better is always there. This was a comment. This wasn't a question. I just like this one. Aaron on Facebook says, Spider gets moved around without any regard to his feelings. Hashtag feel bad. Chin up, Spidey. I love our audience. He's happy. He's just happy to be part of your show, peoples. Right, next question. I like this question, actually. What would you say is a direct competitor to these? This is Steve. And what sort of skill level of golfer are they aimed at? Good question, Steve. Well, you've got 2 irons there. And to be honest with you, they could be aimed at any levels of golfers. You've got to be working it around. I teach 20 handicappers who have a lot of speed and a lot of launch. And maybe a lot of spin. So we might go for the lower spinning one that launches maybe a little bit lower, or whatever way round. I get 20 handicappers who don't launch it very high, and they don't get any distance as well. So I might give them a different model like the Apex CF16 to try and get something out of what they're not putting in. So really, I wouldn't aim it so much at handicaps. For people who want to, lots of people like it to be just strictly to handicaps. You would argue that the CF Apex is going to be aimed kind of, 5 handicapper up to beginner almost. But certainly that mid-range handicapper is going to be the bulk of their purchases. 10, 15s, 20 handicappers kind of tops. Because they've got other models out there, remember, that go above this one. And then the Pro is going to be aimed at pros, tour pros, aspiring single-figure handicappers, aspiring 15 handicappers. But again, you've got to work it into your handicap doesn't determine. If someone tells me their handicap, I can't tell you how they hit the ball. So I can't tell you how far they hit it. I can't tell you what shape they hit it. I can't tell you if they put high spin on it, low spin, launch it high, launch it low, draw it, fade it. I can't do that from someone telling me what handicap they are. So to say you're off a certain handicap and I can tell you what clubs you're going to use is almost a similar kind of idea for me. So maybe it's open your mind up a little bit more when you're purchasing. Just make sure you get the clubs custom fit best for your launch characteristics, really, for me. Okay, we're going to do one more question and then we're going to take a couple of live questions before we finish. Mark said, a lot of Callaway loving going on. They were number one, but were out-marketed by TaylorMade. Will they recover? I think that's a really interesting question because Callaway were number one. I mean, when I was younger and playing, Callaway was everything. They really were the name that everyone aspired to be, and they were the big guys on the block. And they kind of did disappear a little bit. And they didn't disappear, but they did kind of fall back. And they are definitely back with vengeance now. And other companies maybe took the ball and ran with it. All golf companies have cycles. It's so common with all golf companies have these kind of cycles, as I think everything does in life, doesn't it, really? From economies to golf clubs to management groups, people who are running these companies and having the ideas. I mean, I do love what Callaway are doing at the moment, if you're going to talk marketing, with, say, the live show that I've been lucky enough to be on a couple of times. I love the fact they're producing content out there on the net at the moment, which isn't only golf brand specific. Obviously, they produce their standard by our clubs, and our clubs are the best, and this is the best one we've ever made, like every manufacturer is going to do. It's part of marketing. It's always going to happen. But they're also producing content out there. They're going to tour events and giving us insights to some of their players and them walking down fairways and hitting shots and what clubs they're hitting and what's in their bags. They're giving us insights into just the world of golf with the Callaway live show that, like I say, I was on, and there was a band on that show the other night. It wasn't a golf related, there was a band on there. When I went on that show, there was a guy who's got a golf clothes company. Callaway sell golf clothes, but they're happy enough to just create good content around the Callaway brand, just to try and give you what you guys want, which is why I'm here, hopefully, to give you decent content from not just the kind of drilled down Callaway kind of stance. So I think they've absolutely got it right if we're going to talk in the marketing stakes now. And they've also got some great product. You've got to remember, I think as well, the time they the square driver, wasn't it, which was a big revolution, but then it didn't really perform massively in, say, MOI, but didn't perform so well in getting people to hit fairways and max distances. So maybe just went the wrong direction with that product. There we go. Thanks for your questions as always and taking part. Remember, hit that thumbs up button down below if you are enjoying the live shows. I'm just going to refresh the feed here and see if we've got any questions that are not talking about red trousers, blue jumpers, price of fish, and other things. So we've got GM Pips saying gorgeous looking irons. Let's bring him up here. Gorgeous looking irons. Loving the design. #Apex irons. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think for me, the one that's really doing it for me, guys, is the Apex. I could so easily game this. Lockie's going to have a set of these, and I'm going to find it hard not to want to just hit these. I'll give you a top line comparison as well on these two clubs. Look, you've got certainly thinner on the Pro, which is what you would expect. There we go. Look, it's much thinner on the Pro, which is this side, sorry, and that is the one that I prefer. But it's certainly not chunky by any means. That one for me is doing it. I mean, the Pro is doing it as well, but I'm just unfortunate. I'm not. Is he even a Pro? I'm not good enough for the Pro one. I could gain a Pro one. I just like to get as much distance out of it as possible. People like in the mud in the bottom with the 7-iron on the chat there. Yeah. They are being used, people. I haven't got time to clean all the clubs, I'm afraid. Yes, a very good looking irons. I agree with you. That was on Twitter. Here we go. Paul says, hybrid looks very similar to the old Ping G20. It actually does. It does look very similar to the old Ping G20. I would agree with that. Not as much offset. But that was another one that really felt like an iron. That was my first hybrid I went to. Well, now I'm just going, chunky as could be. Let's see if the chatters have got any kind of thing to say. I want to hear about the King Forged iron against these Forged. We'll try and do that, Chad. Definitely in the chat there. Someone talking about thank you for the response. Sorry, Jay, I don't mind. This computer's not working so well at the minute, so it's hard for me to scroll these chats on here. I am going to get it fixed tomorrow, he says. They said forging, missed that one. It goes so quick, it's hard to start. Let's get nice Puma stripy shirt. Thank you very much. There we go. My pecs from Crazy YT. YouTube my chat. That's what the chatters get up to. There we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what Callaway are about. Like I said, I've got the full reviews on my website as well if you want to see me hitting them and see the full numbers of all three. I've got a really interesting compare actually coming with data from Steve Buzzer and myself using the Apex iron. He was getting some unbelievable numbers out of it. Watch my channel, stay tuned for it, you will see it. And it was an interesting video where I'm getting kind of very true to the lost numbers. He was getting some crazy numbers out of it with his delivery, which again just leads me back to always saying, you've got to make sure you get custom fit. Post comments down below as always. For anyone who's watching this video on playback, thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up button. Loads more Callaway, loads more AGG lives coming. Sunday night is going to be a big one, guys. Sunday night, this coming Sunday, it's going to be a very interesting AGG live, 9 PM. I'll let you know what it's about as we get closer. There's a fantastic giveaway in that one as well. Quickly before I go, there's a giveaway here tonight. Almost forgot then, almost sent you packing without your giveaway. Callaway are giving away an Apex hybrid and a dozen chrome soft balls to one lucky winner. So if you want to win an Apex hybrid, and you're going to be one of the only or one of the first people to get your hands on these, because they're not really hitting shops very quickly at the moment. I'm not sure when they actually are released into shops, but you'll be one of the first people to get your hands on it. The winner will be announced on Sunday. So you want to win a dozen chrome softballs and an Apex hybrid. I'm going to post a tweet on Twitter within the next 20 minutes. You're going to need to retweet it. You're going to need to favorite it. You're going to need to make sure you follow me and Callaway Europe. Again, I can't remember their exact hashtag, but I'll put it in the tweet. Watch my Twitter account. Tweets can go up within 20 minutes and you could win the hybrid and a dozen Apex ball. That's a pretty good prize, isn't it, eh? All for watching AGG Live. Thank you, Callaway, for that. Thank you for watching as always. Speak to you soon. Look out for Sundays. Sundays is going to be a big one as well. Let me know what you think. As always, love to hear your comments on the clubs. Speak to you soon.